Welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It's Monday, November 3rd. We are here live, time for some industry insights. My co-host, Brent Hutto, will be joining me shortly. He did text and say he was going to be a little late. That's okay. I've got plenty to talk about this morning. Phone lines are open. You can jump in anytime you want if you have a question about rates, lanes, what's going on in the industry. You know, it's been a while. I was off the air for a couple weeks traveling. I'll be talking about that. So we can make today a free-for-all too. So if you want to jump in with anything you've got, pick up the phone and join us, 855-950-3835. Where do I start? Holy cow, there's so much going on in both trucking and health right now. So I'm kind of overwhelmed with so much stuff going on. I'll talk about the trip and the event. We did the what is now called the best 4 days in trucking. Used to be the best 3 days, but we added a day to it. The best 3 days in trucking has been NASTC's annual conference. We joined forces and we did a one-day CMC at NASTC headquarters. Had a great group, the smallest group I've had in a long, long time, but I really enjoyed the small group. One day flew by. That day went so fast, which is always one of my challenges. I like to talk a lot, obviously. I have a lot of things I want to say, and I know some people think about, talking for 8 hours straight. My worry with 8 hours is it's just not enough. There's so much, and it's always hard for me to choose. But we had a great event. Small groups, much more interactive, which also takes more time. So the material I had, I bet I didn't get halfway through it. But what we did get through worked really well. I enjoyed it. And then this is my third year being a part of NASTC's conference, and each year I play a bigger role. This year I was probably in front of the audience more than anybody else, including David. David spends a lot of time. David likes to talk too, and David has a lot to say. David spends a lot of time at the event in front of the audience, but I think it was pretty close this time. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. Anytime I wasn't on stage, I was talking with people at the event, vendors, attendees, drivers, small fleets. I got to do the Driver of the Year awards, and that was fun to be able to do that. We do kind of it's not really an interview, but there's 20 drivers of the year, and we get to question them. And I'm allowed to make up my own questions, so I always have fun with that. Met some really interesting people that I didn't know. Got to spend good quality time with people I have known for years. I want to give a shout out. I'm sure he's not listening. Joe Rockovatz. Many of you know him. Joe's been part of the industry for a long time. Owner-operator going way back. Joe and I, at dinner one night, talked about old truck driver stories from the 70s. That was fun. Joe has been a part of the Western States Trucking Association for quite some time now. Was with OOIDA way back when. Joe and I share some similar views about that, so that was an interesting conversation as well. So I had a great time talking with Joe. Met, it was a new company. I'm going to do some research on this company. I may get him on the show. It is a company that's looking at using technology to solve the driver detention issue. Detention pay, being held up at the dock, that kind of stuff. I am always for free market solutions, and technology is becoming a very powerful free market solution. A lot of our answers are technology based. AI is accelerating that even more. So I'm going to do a little research on the company. I may get them on the air. The interesting part, one of the guys in the company, young, very young, graduated from MIT, really sharp guy, and he's also a Vibe coder. Turns out he had kind of the same experience I did. He wanted to build software, but once he figured out what coding was all about, he changed his major. That actually was going to be his major at MIT, and then he changed it. I've said this, there's no way I could write code. It just wouldn't happen. My brain doesn't work that way. It's way too time consuming, or it used to be. Well, it still would be if you were writing code traditionally. But with vibe coding, all of that goes away. So building software now requires a whole new set of skills. And what's interesting that I'm finding is that people who write traditional code, software developers, many of them, and it almost seems like most of them, struggle with vibe coding. Like I thought the opposite. I thought they should have just been able to just build incredible software because they don't have to focus on the code, but that's what they're good at. They're good at writing code. This is a whole new set of skills. So it was interesting. The tool I use, the primary tool I use a bunch. Probably, I bet I use at least 24 different tools for vibe coding, which is one of the tricks to learn is how you set up your processes and what tools you use. The main tool I use is called Cursor, and Cursor is growing like crazy. It's a company that basically came out of nowhere. Well, it turns out he was in a fraternity at MIT, this guy I met. His fraternity brother was the first employee at Cursor. So there was the founder and then his fraternity brother. So I may be talking to him, which would be kind of interesting because I now consider myself a Cursor power user. And that is our biggest cost. So building software now has become a lot less expensive, but you still have cost. And I'm using up a lot of processing power right now, primarily because I'm still learning. The better I get at this, the less the cost becomes. You just get more efficient at using it. I don't want to get off into an AI discussion. That was just one of the things that happened at the event. There were plenty, though. Just had a great time. Got to spend a lot of time talking with a lot of very knowledgeable people in the industry. The trip itself was a lot of fun. Total of 6 days on the train, maybe 5, maybe it's 2.5 days each way. So 5 days on the train. Really nice ride. I did do quite a bit of coding while I was on the train because when it's dark, and this time of year it was dark more than it was light, it was just a great experience just to sit on the train and relax and be able to get a lot of work done like that. When the light was up, I sat in the observation car most of the time, enjoying the scenery. We got to go through Glacier National Park. On the way out, the train goes right through Glacier from end to end. And we hit the west end of the park heading east. We hit the west end of the park just as the sun was coming up. It's just absolute perfect timing. On the way back, we missed it completely. We went through in the middle of the night, but it was a beautiful ride. Great event all the way around. What else happened on the trip? I think that covers most of it. There was a lot. I'll probably be talking about some of the things that may come out of that trip. We're still planning, but it looks like some form of our training. whether we call it the CMC, whether it's the Road Scholar, whether it's combined. We might throw in some health. Looks like going forward, we will be a bigger part of the NASTC event, which works well for us. We have a lot of material to present at events, but we have a very small team, and doing big events is really difficult and really expensive. And it's gotten much, much more expensive lately. So having that partnership with NASTC, they have a team, they do the event, they have it right there near them, which is always easy. You know, for us, we were planning an event that was 1,000 miles away. So that always added challenge. So we're looking forward to that. We'll keep you updated on what that's going to look like for next year's event. Phone lines are open if you want to jump in and join me. I'm not seeing any calls. I have plenty to talk about, but you could certainly jump in. 855-950-3835. We're still waiting on Brent. I'm sure he'll be here sooner or later. Trucking. There is a lot going on. Most of the news in trucking right now is not good at all. A lot of carrier bankruptcies and good, mid-size carriers, 250 truck fleets. That's not what we would consider a large carrier, but that is a substantial size of a company. And I think it was a couple weeks ago I announced that there was 17 bankruptcies in that fleet size, and I think I saw an updated number that was now 29. I need to find some time to go research that, but that's a crazy number. The prediction now is that the mid-sized brokers primarily are in real trouble right now. That the next round of bankruptcies are probably going to be mid-sized brokers. So it's the middle of the market that is struggling the most. And here's why. I can explain this in carriers, and I can also explain it in brokers. The middle part of the market is one of the most difficult places to be. If you own one truck right now and you're driving that truck, you should not be struggling. That's what I will tell you. This is not a market that a one truck owner operator should be struggling in. Now, you may or may not be, breaking records. Some of my one truck operators are actually breaking records still in what they're calling the worst freight recession ever. The bottom side of the market is a safer place to be. And the very bottom is one truck, one driver. Because you have total control over your operation. What truck you drive, how you modify it, how you drive it, the freight you get, the relationships you make, fuel mileage, all of it is completely in your control. Once you buy a second truck, now a lot of that stuff is not in your control anymore. And the more trucks you have, the more that changes. On the Thursday show, we talk about fleet size all the time and how it affects your business model, or how it should affect your business model, how you should handle each stage of size. Now, on the big side of the market, the mega carriers, the mega brokers, they're struggling if you look at their numbers. What carrier was it? One of the bigger carriers, I can't remember which one it was now. I looked at their numbers the other day, their operating ratio. So let me just explain operating ratio real quick. Your operating ratio it's a number that shows you how profitable you are, but in a sense, it's backwards. You want your operating ratio to be as low as possible. And what that means is your expenses compared to your revenue are good. You're doing a really good job of either managing expenses or producing revenue, or more than likely both, if you have a really good operating ratio. For a carrier, a mid-sized carrier, The best operating ratios I've ever seen are in the high 70s. And that is unusual. I used to talk about Heartland all the time. Heartland has fallen from grace on that one. Their operating ratios lately have been horrible. But whatever carrier this was, let me keep explaining operating ratio. If you had an operating ratio, I just said a good number would be high 70s. If you had an operating ratio of exactly 100, that would mean you produced zero profit. You spent every penny that came into the company on a business expense. If you have 100 operating ratio, you are zero profit. The carrier, I'll have to go look and see if I can find who it was. You would recognize it. They were a fairly large carrier. Their operating ratio was 107. That means for every dollar of revenue they generate, they lose 7 cents. That is a bad place to be. That is a horrible number. I don't know if I've ever seen large carriers put out those kind of numbers. Anything over 100 obviously is bad. You're losing money on every mile you run. And it doesn't do you any good to run more miles. You're just going to lose more money. It's a really bad place to be, but that's where we're seeing some of the market now. And from what I understand, the brokers are about to take a big hit. It's their turn to go through this. All right, I see my co-host Brent Hutto is with me. Perfect timing because I just started talking about the market. Brent, good morning.
Oh, man, good morning, KR. Sorry about that. Had to take my sweet mom to the dentist, and it took a little longer than a lot longer because of her. So sorry about that.
Mom always comes first, always.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Amen to that. So all good stuff. So you're talking about brokers.
Well, I did a little recap on my travels and the event at NASDAQ.
Yeah.
I just had a great time. A lot of good stuff happened. And then I got started talking about the market and how many bankruptcies we've seen in the mid-sized carriers. And I had a note, and I can't find it now. I looked at some financials on a large carrier, and I can't remember who it was. I've been doing so much research lately. But their operating ratio, they were mid to large. You certainly recognize the name. Everybody would recognize it, but I can't remember who it was. Their operating ratio was 107. That is so bad.
Wow. Now, is this a broker? Is this a carrier?
Carrier, yeah. This was a carrier.
The carrier's up. Yeah. Well, that's upside down.
Oh, that's a bad place to be. But then I saw Craig wrote a good article about, or a good post I read today about where the brokers are right now and how this is. He actually laid out all the different scenarios, like low volume, high rates, high volume. I mean, he went through a whole bunch of different possibilities and basically said where the market is right now is about the worst place it could be for a mid-sized broker. Like we'll probably see a lot of them fall here soon.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely a tough market. What I was explaining is this is the kind of market, and this is almost all recessions. The smaller you are, the better you're able to handle these kind of setbacks. One truck, one driver, I said, you should not be struggling in this market. This is not a market that should be hurting you if you've got a good business model with one truck, one driver, like we talk about the business model we outline 1,000 times. And it turns out when I look at the people who are running one truck properly, they're not struggling at all. Some of them are still setting records. It's pretty crazy to see some of the numbers I'm seeing with very well-run small carriers. At the opposite end, having 107 operating ratio, for a mid-sized carrier, that would put them out of business pretty quickly. The big carriers have the cushions. They can weather that kind of stuff. It's not good for them, but more than likely they'll get through, or Sometimes they get bought. But they'll be okay. It's the middle of the market that's really a scary place to be right now.
Oh, definitely is. Yeah, definitely is. So I got you. I'm on live on video now, so we're good now. So
good.
To see you.
There we go.
There we go. So it's going to be a challenge across the board for many middle-sized players because they get stuck between. I'm sure that what Craig's article is about high volume, low margin, or if you're high margin, low volume, you're kind of on the ends of the spectrum here. And you can when you're and this is kind of what he's talking about. And it's not exactly this, but it's close. We're in a fairly commoditized industry. In other words, the players typically, it favors the really large players or the very specific small players, the small players that do a very unique thing. The middle market is what in large markets that are commoditized, the middle market always gets hammered really hard because you're not big enough to play on the tall end, and you're not small enough to play on the small end, and so it's just a difficult market to be in, especially for carriers, and it can be for brokers as well because they run off margins too. So that's obviously everyone does. So, but it's going to continue to be challenging, especially for those mid-market players, Kevin.
Yeah, he talked a lot about how many of them have been pretty heavily leveraged with credit lines that because of some of these factors, some of those credit lines are going to be called, and that's usually like the final straw. You know, if you can keep borrowing money, you can keep the doors open, but once that stops and then worse, you know, some of your credit lines you've got to pay off. That's usually what'll put you out of business.
Right. Well, I mean, look, the big picture of that for everybody for the tribe here was Convoy. The Convoy was kind of cruising along until and look here's how this works. Convoy was cruising along until they started showing on their books that they were making money. Like they were making a margin.
Right.
And the problem was the margin that they were making, this is the scary part. Everybody on this call, this is for the tribe. This is the scary part about going after investment money, grow your business, because what happens is the market will give you a valuation or what they think your company is worth. And if they think you're worth $2 billion, which is kind of where Convoy was, and you start showing a bottom line revenue or profit, and it only values you at about 300 or 400 million, that's a problem for investors.
Yeah, it is. The money stops flowing.
Well, I'm going to lose all my money, and it stops. But here's the thing. I'm so glad you brought this up, KR, because so much investment money has come into our industry since about 2015 because this is a very good marketplace.
Yeah, it is.
Right? There's lots of great things that have been gained by people, but there's a lot of this has been invested into.
Let me just on that point real quick. Here's why our market was so great. It's not because we have great margins. We don't. This is a tough market, always has been. But that is the key to why this was such a big market for technology. We're a very inefficient market is our problem. We're in an inefficient industry. And it's because of all the challenges. It's not that we're dumb. It's just it's a very difficult business to run. So technology and all these technology investors, what they do is they look for a problem to solve. And they looked at trucking and said, holy cow, look at that train wreck over there. Think of all the things we can fix with technology and a bunch of money.
Right. And in a sense, you can fix many things with technology. The problem is you can't fix all of it.
Nope. And just because you have a problem and have technology doesn't mean you've got the right technology to solve the problem. That's not easy either.
No, not even close. And on top of that, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say there's one more challenge in this industry. We don't like technology.
No, we don't. Not really. People don't really love it. They don't really love it. And I get it. I understand why now, and it's because, I mean, the ideology of this marketplace is a get it done, pull you up by the bootstraps. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to, service the customer because we like the face to face. We like the idea of by the way, trucking's, even if it gets somewhat automated, trucking's still going to be a physical world.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't AI goods. They're real.
Yep.
So
that's right.
You got to find a way to make sure they can get moved. Right. So it's got its own challenges for sure.
Yeah. It's a really interesting market, but I struggle every day not to just run around screaming, "I told you so," because that's not a good look. But sometimes I want to, because this is the market I've warned everybody about forever, that you do not want to get. Right. You do not want to be in a market like this with the wrong business model and the wrong plan and not doing the right things.
Yeah.
And everything we've ever talked about, fuel mileage, maintenance, revenue, relationships, brokers, all of it, all of our strategies would put you in a place where this market would not be a problem at all.
Yeah, shouldn't be. Yeah. Well, I think it's just like this, Kevin. How are you really looking at how you need to find success? There's some basic blocking and tackling that you talk about all the time. And then how is it pivoting and changing how's the market pivoting and changing, and how do you need to pivot to where it's changing to? And to me, I mean, you've talked about this so many times about the very small player, the 1 to 2 truck person can do very well in this marketplace because they can change quickly.
And here's the really good news. You should, with one truck, one driver, and the right business model, you should be doing just fine right now. In fact, you could be doing really well. I have a lot of people that are doing really well in this market. The other prediction, and again, this came from Craig and FreightWaves, is that between the bankruptcies, the non-domiciled driver issue that they're cracking down heavy on, the carrier fraud that they're cracking down heavy on, he's predicting in 26 and 27 a major capacity crunch that we're going to. Yeah.
Hey, Noel is too.
Yeah.
Noel is too.
A lot of smart people are. Yeah. Donald Broughton had a very, very optimistic outlook on the trucking market for 26 and 27. So what a great place to be. If we're at the bottom of the market and you're doing well and we're predicting 2 years of a capacity crunch, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, it shouldn't. I mean, but here's the thing. And this is where, Kevin, you and I have just been trying to be the best evangelists we could about this. Are you preparing for it?
That's it. You got to be ready.
Are you getting ready for it? Are you managing it? And if you are, you'll do a lot better than everybody else will, because you'll be ready for it. And that's the biggest part. And it comes with knowing your numbers. Yeah.
Here's the other warning. Even if you're not doing everything right, if you've got one truck, one driver, you're probably doing okay in this market. When we hit this capacity crunch, and it sounds like we're going to, here's the biggest problem. Everybody's going to be tempted to add trucks. You always are. Yeah, you get pressured by your broker. You get pressured by your shippers. Boy, we could really use more trucks. Why don't you, buy a truck and hire your brother-in-law? That will put some people out of business. They will do that completely wrong. They will do it when they're not ready for it. This is the whole concept of the ROTC program, the Remarkable One Truck Company. That should always be your first goal. Become a remarkable one truck company. Now, if you decide to add another truck, you've got the right business model in place. You've got the right infrastructure in place. It's still going to be difficult. You still have to do it right. But if you do it when you don't have those things in place, your odds of failure go way up. That second, I've watched the second truck take the first truck down.
Hey, look, here's the thing. And I can tell you from back in my days with Overdrive, we used to do this research every year.
Yep.
One truck owner operator profit percentage. When they go to two, it goes negative.
Yes, it does.
Almost like 80%.
I know.
80%. Yep. It goes negative. You're like,
what just happened?
They should have almost double. They should have double. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. So super important to pay attention to that.
So, Brent, you know those numbers. Imagine my scenario. Yeah. I had one truck. I bought a second truck. I had two trucks. I bought a third truck. Every time I couldn't pay the bills, my idea was I must need another truck. And
oh no.
I managed to get to 11 before I figured out only 2 of the 11 were actually profitable. Yeah.
I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. Well, that's how I learned all this. Really, if I have to go back to one thing, this is how I learned it. I lived it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So I just remember you talking all about this, when we met in 1999, just about how, man, and it's like can you be more profitable with 2 trucks or 3 trucks?
Absolutely.
Most certainly.
Yes.
The problem is you go from an owner operator to an owner operator manager.
Yep.
And then so that's a challenge. And so I know you've got methodologies and you've got teachings and you've got learnings that you talk about all the time to be able to make that move and be able to do it. But remember, it's just like the thing you can't ever manufacture more of, and there's no human on the planet that can. You can't manufacture more of human time. Now, I know AI can help you be more productive, but I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, you said the key word. I'm allowed to talk about it now.
Dang it. I let the cat out of the bag. But no, I mean, you can doppelganger yourself a little bit. But
not,
you still have to pay attention to that second truck or third truck, right?
Yeah.
That needs to be productive.
Yeah, there's no doubt that AI can help you run a much more efficient company. But it's not that easy either. Mm-hmm. You could also waste a lot of time on AI if you don't have a good understanding of what works, what doesn't work. Right. I waste hundreds and hundreds of hours on AI. Now, I do that for a reason because that's how I learn. I need to do things to learn. And so I have to spend a lot of time on AI and then say, well, that was a waste of time because that's not working the way I thought it was going to work. I do have an interesting take on AI. And this came from Donald Broughton. And Donald is
my good friend, good guy. Yeah.
Donald's a great guy. Donald's an interesting guy too.
Love him, great guy.
Really, really good, really good presenter. No doubt.
Yes.
So Donald gave his presentation very optimistic. Didn't really touch on AI at all. So at the end of the presentation for questions, I happened to. I know I annoyed him because I asked him a question he didn't know the answer to, and I kind of knew he.
Oh, well, that's good.
I kind of knew he wasn't, but it led to the topic that I really learned something important. So what I asked him was, do you know what the term vibe coding means? And I knew he wouldn't know it. Nobody knows.
Yeah, well,
yeah. And
well, hey, remember Evan knew it. You asked Evan that question; he knew what that was.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's the only person I know that's ever said yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So I explained it to him real quick, and what he did was what a good presenter does. He pivoted to what he did know. He couldn't address vibe coding directly. My question really wasn't about vibe coding, other than how much could our economy change if software becomes really cheap? And that's kind of what vibe coding has the potential to do. But he had a bigger picture, and as soon as he said it, I thought, boy, how did I not? You know how much I've spent talking about AI. And how we got to get ready. It's going to change everything. It's happening so fast. I'm almost in panic mode. Like I feel like I'm behind, even though I'm on, the cutting edge of this. Here's what he said. He said, look at every technological revolution going back as far as you want. And here's what, as humans, here's what we do every time, and we're doing it with AI, and I'm absolutely doing it, and I have to stop. Here's what he said. He said, we always over-predict the impact in the short term, and we under-predict the impact in the long term. He said the next 2 or 3 years, you're not going to see major revolutions because of AI. The impact is not going to be as big as what everybody is saying in the next 2 or 3 years. But in the next 10 to 20, it's bigger than anybody can imagine.
Right.
And if you go back and you look at the computer revolution, in the short term, we thought computers will change everything. And eventually they did. If you look at the dot-coms, they had an impact, but not a huge impact in the short term, 2, 3, 4 years.
Right.
But they've changed the world now. They've changed everything about our world, including our industry, because of, what the dot-coms have done. You can get stuff delivered in the same day you order it now. That's how far we've come on that. And then he went through
that's super true.
The social media revolution. Facebook started in 2005, if I remember right. 2004, 2005. And that was...
that sounds right.
I think maybe when I joined Facebook, you had to have a college email address to join.
Oh, that's where it started. Obviously, if you've seen the social network, it started on Harvard's campus. So, that's where he went to school, right?
At the time,
Harvard MIT.
I don't remember which one. Yeah. At the time, I had just recently gone through my financial planning program at the University of Central Florida. So I had a UCF address, and that's the only reason I was able to join Facebook that early. But it didn't have a huge impact right away. Even by 2010, Facebook was still not that big of a deal. And now social media, when you look at, all the big platforms, it's changed everything. And not always in a good way, obviously, but as soon as he said that, I recognized the pattern. We over-predict in the beginning, we under-predict in the long term.
Yeah, I think what I would say, we do, or we always do. And then here's what I would tell you is two things. Number one, the rate of change the rate of change is increasing.
Right.
In other words, it used to be, and I heard a great guy talk about this, Jim Tompkins, and he said the rate of change used to be once in a lifetime, like these big, massive changes. He goes, then it was like once in 50 years, and then it was once in 10 years, and then it was once in 5 years, and now it's like multiple changes.
Yeah,
in
that's a good point.
Periods. So that's something to keep up with. And the other thing was this, and this is something Noel Perry taught me. He talked about the Kondrativ chain. What do advancements in humankind, and it's usually technology, but remember, steam at one time was technology. Steam power was technology.
Right. So, that's right.
But today we think, oh, it's just computers. No. It's all kinds of advancements.
Yeah.
And so, but the Kondrativ, so I would just, anybody in the tribe here, look at, it's called the Kondrativ. It's Kondrativ. And he's a Russian economist that showed the impact of technological advances on, and I can show this right now to the tribe if you want me to show it on the screen, because it's a great curve.
Yeah.
It shows the impact of technology and how I'll do it, and how it changes, the society in which it affects. I mean, here, I got it. Here, it's right here. Look at it. I'll show it.
There you go.
Here we are.
Look at that.
It took over my whole screen. It took over. I did a little cut and paste here. It's not the best piece here, but let me just see if I can get a little bigger. There we go. A little bigger. See it a little better?
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy for the tribe, there you go. I see you on the video. This guy was a Russian economist in the 1700s, and he came up with this thing. Remember, he's in communist Russia.
Yeah.
The government is the best. Is the mother. The government
right.
can do everything right. And what he found out, he watched how technology was advancing societies, and he said, actually, communism is not the best predictor. Free markets, where technology is advanced.
Yeah, imagine that.
And guess what they did? Guess what they did, Kevin? To hold, I think it's Andre or something, it's like Andrade. Because he came out with this and it didn't support communism, they put him in the Russian gulag and killed him.
I was about to say, he got sent to a gulag in Siberia, didn't he? Yeah.
And then they eventually killed him. But look, his principle has never been wrong, because his point was, when societies are free and innovation, which is technological advancements, are free to happen, economies and humankind improves and advances. And this is the one, you can see it goes back to 1819 and it goes to 2009. And what were the big advances and what happened to the economies? This is a worldwide measurement. And it's so great. Noel Perry, your friend, my friend, he's the one that introduced me to this. About how
I got to go study
technological advances are so important to societies. This is why, and this supports your point, KR. Don't be afraid of AI. Just make sure you understand how to utilize it. That's all that matters, because it's going to have an advancement, just like biotech, just like environmental advance. All these advances are going to have something to do with the way in which we live. Know how to use them. So
my brain's about to explode. Here's why.
I love it.
Here's why. This wave we're in, I'm not going to call it the next wave. It started with technology and we're still in it. Yeah. Yeah. But here's why AI changes all of this. Here's why. Right. Because AI already is having a huge impact on everything. AI isn't just AI. Yeah, AI is what AI does to everything else we do. Yeah. Yeah. It's not. It's like when we got the internet. It applied to everybody on the planet. Right. AI applies to every planet, every industry, every methodology, everything out there. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's mind-boggling and a little scary, but this one, and this is what I've been trying to say, that every wave gets bigger. Every wave happens faster. That's something you were talking about too. Well, yeah. Well, look at this chart. Yeah, right. Every wave got bigger. Not just the height, but the breadth. The breadth. That's right. That's right. So it's both. So that shows a number of advancements. Yeah. Now, here's the good news. Here's the good news. Yeah, babe. I've been almost in panic mode, like trying to get people to understand. Stop. By far, the single biggest complaint about my show this year has been I talk about AI too much. So I tried not to. In fact, I kind of play a little game. I won't mention it until somebody else does. And then once somebody mentions it, look out. But because I've been kind of in this, this is happening so fast, you better get in front of this, you're going to get run over. Well, we can take a breath here and not panic and not think we're behind on things, because it's not going to have that huge impact right away. But I also don't think that it's going to take as long as the past waves, because that is part of the pattern. The wave happens faster and it's bigger. And I would still encourage people, especially if you're in business. Look, if you're not in business and you want to ignore this, go ahead. It'll happen around you. Yeah. You will see advantages of it. You'll see disadvantages. You could completely ignore it if you want. No big deal. If you're in business, and I'm in the business of giving business advice, I would say do not ignore this. You better understand what it's doing to every industry, what the possibilities are.
And I'll send this to you, KR. The guy, Jim Tompkins, who did the thing he called it metamorphosis. He says your business is still going to be a business, but it's going to be something different. And you talk about this a lot too. I'll send it to you. It's a great presentation on what happens if you don't understand that your caterpillar is going to become a butterfly. And what is that metamorphosis in that? And how do you need to adjust to it? Because in the end, if you like business, and a lot of people do, you just like business. You just want to be in business. And it's no business is designed to stay exactly like it is. It's going to pivot and change and become something. So how do you understand where it's going? And if you love to be in trucking because you love trucking, how do you become better at trucking? I mean, last time I checked, we're not driving trucks that were built in 1960 anymore. We're not on highways that were from 1940. All these things have gotten better. How do you just go again? Truckers are going to, I agree, truckers are going to be truckers. How do you understand how to change with it? And the thing is you need to be listening to what Kevin's talking about. I hope I bring information to you that can help you think about how do I change my business? Because I love this industry. And I do too. It's one reason why I'm 58 and still doing it.
That's right.
I love this industry. How do you figure it out? And that's man, that's the joy. That's the joy of being able to figure it out and do it and get better.
I have never worked as hard as I am working right now, not even close. And I've worked hard my whole life, but nothing compared to what I do now.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing. I'm working this hard, one, because I see the potential, but two, I'm having a lot of fun.
Right.
I don't want to stop working.
Right.
Yesterday, I needed a day out at the homestead. Mm-hmm. One, I had a lot to do. I had to get onions planted and a cover crop. It's, getting late in the season. So I knew I needed a day out there. Mm-hmm. And I needed to go pick up some stuff. And I got to the farm store 15 minutes early. So I whipped out my laptop and started coding. And I had to stop. When I got out to the homestead, I had to force myself to close the laptop, put it away, and get out and do some physical work. And I'm sore, but I will. Here's how bad this has become. I am known. I talk about it all the time. I don't use my phone for anything. I hate working on my phone. I don't even like sending a text message.
I remember you saying that.
I do not like working on the phone.
You said that in Mastic.
It makes me crazy to have to do anything on my phone. So all the apps, I don't care. Right. I don't get excited about phone apps. That's just it. I finally hit that technological barrier that kind of slowed me down. Everything else, I'm all into technology. I just don't like the phone thing. I was just considering it this morning. I am considering putting my coding tools on my phone so I can code when I can't even pull out the laptop. That's how bad this is getting.
Kevin, are you saying that me and the tribe may need to have an intervention on you?
It's possible. Like it's possible. Yeah. Yeah. Keep an eye on me. Yeah.
I'm watching. I'm like, wait a minute here. You're like my kids, man. When they said they just love to read, and we'd go anywhere. They'd whip out a book, and I go, "Hey, we're having family dinner. Go get the book stuff." And I mean, I can tell you right now, you'd have never said that to a young Brent Hutto. He was like, I don't think I even read. I read 2 books through high school. Two. Call of the Wild and The Outsiders, and that's it. That's all I read.
At least you read 2 really good ones.
I got to be 30. They were good.
Those were good.
I didn't start reading until I was about 30, and you were talking about improving yourself, and you actually helped teach me this in a great way about if you really want to improve. There's no replacing reading. There's something physical. Right. There's something about your brain. There's something about what it does to your ability to think like I can do this. When you read through something, I think maybe this is God's intention of how He's delivering things to us. And so to me, reading is just so powerful. I mean, I just enjoy it so much now.
I've said it forever. It is the single biggest thing that changed my life. And I consider it like my superpower that I started reading so early and enjoyed it.
Right. Yep. I agree with you. Same here. I mean, when I was 30, I was just startled. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And by the way, I read almost no fiction. It's all stuff that's happened or stuff that is talking about things that are going to happen and that sort of stuff. I'm just not a big fiction reader at all because I don't find it super interesting. Now, I know a lot of people love it, which is great. Like all my family love it. I just don't read much of it.
Yeah. See, for the first, so what age do you learn how to read? 8, 7, 8?
Oh gosh, no. If you have parents that read to you, you start it. By the way, for everybody at Tribe out there, if you've not done this, or if you got little kids, read to them.
Oh, yeah.
Watching them learn to read by listening to you read is it's a miracle.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
never
miracle.
thought about that.
They learn as young as about 4.
Interesting.
To
So
learn to
here's
Yep.
the crazy thing. My parents never read to me, ever. I certainly
neither.
don't remember it, and I don't think that they did, but here's
Right.
what they did do.
Right.
My vision of both of my parents is them reading. So my dad
they
would
read.
typically read my dad would read the newspaper front to back.
Mhm.
He would read magazines. My mom would read novels,
Right.
and they did it a lot. That's what but they never read to me.
Wow.
But I remember them
Right.
reading a lot. Now, I read to my son Michael, and he's a huge reader now. And he'll tell you he remembers the stories and you know how much enjoyment he got out of that, and that was a big thing for us.
Right. Well, and I read to all of my kids, but only because my wife Teresa told me I had to. But and then
I can see that.
I loved it. Well, she's a big reader, and so
Oh yeah,
but because her mother, because just like you, her mother was a big reader, and I just remember all these stories I read to my kids and stuff. And now that was a lot of fiction. That's about the fiction that I read.
Yeah.
But I'm with my kids, right? And by the way, it was also a good opportunity for me to get about 20 minutes into it and then take a nap. So, because my kids would always say, Dad, wake up, because I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But no, some of the sweetest times. But to watch your little kids when they're like 4 years old start reading along with you because they start watching the words.
Yeah.
And it is a miracle to watch. They look at the words and they go, hey, I can read now, Dad.
Yeah.
And you go, wait a minute, I didn't teach you the words. They go, they pick it up.
Wow. Yeah. That's so I started the story. So from the time I learned how to read, whatever age that, and just I was taught in school, whatever grade that is, 2nd, 3rd grade, seems like it was around 3rd. And I started ordering books from the Scholastic Book Club. That used to be my best day of the month when the order form came. And then when the books came, from that time until I was in the Army. I remember exactly where it happened. It was at a bookstore in the Tacoma Mall because I was stationed at Fort Lewis. Up until that point, I had only read novels or read for entertainment, just pure entertainment, and loved it. 2 books a week is what I average. I still remember some of those stories. My 2 favorite books from childhood, My Side of the Mountain. Absolutely loved that book.
You're going to freak out. You're going to freak out.
Why?
How about this? That was my favorite book to read my kids.
No way.
I'm not kidding.
Really?
Look, and you're going to really freak. You're really.
I have a copy of
it.
I have a hardback copy of it.
I have a hardback copy signed by the author.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was one of my absolute favorites.
Now Kevin, here's the thing. We didn't go find this book. My wife just went to a garage sale. This lady said she was selling old children's books. She bought like 50 books. She saw that book was in there. She's like, great, I'll have a nice hardback old copy of my Side of the Mountain. And I'm reading it to my kids again. And I open it up and I go, Teresa, there's a signature in here. And it's Jean Paul George or whatever. The person, I can't remember I think it's Jean George. Yeah, it's signed by her. I think it's like a female wrote. Is it it's a female?
Yes.
It's a female or male? I don't remember.
I think so.
But for anybody, hey guys, for a Tribe out there, that is an excellent book to read your kids about adventure and about it's amazing. My favorite, of course, is Peregrine Falcon, Frightful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Frightful is
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
best.
What a Yeah, absolutely love that book. And then my other one was very similar to Call of the Wild. It was Kavik the Wolf Dog.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
That's a kind of a similar story.
Kavik the Wolf Dog?
Yeah, Kavik. Yeah. Great.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I went as an adult went and found a hardback copy of that and bought it too.
Yeah, well, the only really books I read in college, I read a few books in college. The main book I read in college was The Count of Monte Cristo, which is still one of my favorite books. Talk about a big book. It's like giant, like 800 pages. So,
I got to finish the story. Yeah. I keep starting the story and I never get to it. So the first nonfiction book I read, I'm going to draw a blank on it, and it's a classic too.
Okay.
I think the title is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind.
Oh, I know that book because Mike Raleigh. Mike Raleigh always talked about that book.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. I can't believe I'm not positive about it. I can see the title. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it though. And it's one of the classics.
Okay.
And I was in the Army. I was at the mall in Tacoma. I bought the book and I read it in one day, one sitting. Almost didn't make it to work the next morning because I was up until about 3:00 in the morning to finish it. And it was the first time I realized, hey, you love to read. Look at what you just learned in this book. Like I learned a whole new way of thinking, something I had never been introduced to.
Yeah. Yes. Joseph Murphy.
Yes.
Is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Oh, I can buy it on thrift books. They got an old books. By the way, thrift Tribe. There's a great. You can buy old books. It's called thriftbooks.com. I love it.
There you go.
I buy old books off there all the time.
Yeah.
I see the title. I see the cover. Yeah. I'm gonna have to get that one.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Powerful book.
So now, so after that, I would say I'm pretty 50-50. I still love novels. But I love to learn, so I split my time. And now I am like hyper focused on this idea, and I'm about to get back to it. And it's how our Rhodes Scholar program, it's where I came up with the idea for that. I'm hyper focused now on this idea of using novels to teach us stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like parables in the Bible, and we learn from those stories really well. That kind of teaching sticks with us.
Oh, it always sticks with us, and there's something about there's also not the visual is important too, because if you want people to remember things, they read along while you're teaching, or they read and remember so. They're reading along while you're teaching audio, and then they see a visual of you as well. So that doesn't get replaced. This is why I'm not so worried about AI. It's just another great way to deliver things in a very efficient way, because humans are going to learn. The biggest computer in the world is between our ears, and because it has no capacity, and it has no limits to its capacity.
None we can find. Right.
Well, tell me who's done it.
Yeah,
because last time we think we're like, oh, nobody can run faster. They do. Nobody can run further. They do. And so nobody can jump higher. They do. So it's like we don't know capacity, because I don't really think we have one.
I don't think so either. And the best example of this in our world today, and a lot of people would disagree with this, but I don't think there's a better example than Elon Musk.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. A guy that is someone on the spectrum, he said. He's young. By the way, so was a young Scott Moskowitz.
Yeah, exactly.
They thought he was retarded when he was in third grade.
Right.
You remember what he said? But you know what? It's and I love the way Elon thinks. There's a lot of things about Elon that I probably might do different, make a different decision on. But when it comes to like vision and out there and what can be done. Oh gosh, you got to love the guy.
Not just having the vision, but running 6 companies doing things that nobody ever thought was possible in all of them.
Right.
I mean,
right.
The capacity that he has is mind-boggling. I mean, it's incredible what he's able to accomplish. And he has the same 24 hours in a day that all of us do. Something is obviously very different about his brain.
Yeah, I think part of, from what I see from his behavior, that we just can evaluate his behavior, is that he is an innovator's innovator, and he likes innovating no matter what. He desires, from what I see, he desires to innovate over everything else in life.
Yes.
And that includes relationships. That includes
absolutely.
Other people. That includes your feelings. That includes your feelings.
Yes.
He doesn't care about, it's like, and so there are people like that. And honestly, our world needs them because they push the envelope to do great things.
You know what else is really, really different about him from all of his peers?
What's that?
And I mean, to be a peer, you have to be in the B club. You got to be a billionaire.
Right.
And, somebody's talking about who's going to be the first trillionaire. Here's what's different.
Somebody.
He doesn't own a big yacht or 6 big houses around the world. He doesn't own an island anywhere. He lives more frugally than most people in middle income. I mean, he doesn't do anything like that with his money. It's kind of incredible.
Well, he doesn't play. And by the way, and I know a lot of really, really, really rich people that do the same thing. They don't place a lot of value on their possessions, even though they have a lot of them.
Right.
They just don't. And you see this with, by the way, Scott Moskowitz and Evan Shelley with Chuck Parking a little bit this way too. And Elon Musk are all that same realm. They will put all of it on the innovation, like everything they've got, all their money, all their time, all their resources on it. They'll risk everything to go chase the innovation. And man, this world needs people like that, Kevin. They really do.
Oh, I agree.
They absolutely do. Well, I've got. Can I give the update? And then I've got to go. Believe it or not, I got to go take care of my mom. And we're still wrapping up. By the way, Tribe, we had the big wedding here this weekend. My sweet oldest daughter got married, and so it was beautiful. I'll send some pictures over.
Yes, love to see them.
Anybody, but so it was. Where's the market right now? We're talking about what you started off. What I jumped on with Craig Fuller saying brokers are going to start failing too. Yes, they are. All right, because they're just like any standard business, and if you're not running it right and watching your bottom line, just like you are, if you're a single truck owner operator, you're going to have a tough time too. But the marketplace continues to cruise along at normal sort of pressure. The market demand index was 82 to 82, so basically no change. Volumes in the market, standard 5-year averages of where we are at volumes. Rates were $2. They dropped 2 cents. All 3 segments dropped a penny or two. So they went from $2.30 to $2.28. And van dropped 1 penny from $1.94 to $1.93. Reefer $2.34 to $2.33. Refrigerated $2.46 to $2.44. Fuel went up a penny. But this is why I continue to be a little bit bullish about the spot market. The outbound tender reject index, so the contract freight that's getting renegotiated all the time, I call that the renegotiation rate index, went up. It went above 6% again, 6.09. So that's good. That continues to show growth in the marketplace. And that and Kevin, I just love your heart, man. I love that you keep telling owner operators, man, now's a great time to get in the market, because if you can figure out and dial it in and know how to make money now, can you imagine what it's going to be when rates are 50 cents a mile higher or 75 cents a mile? And they will be.
Yeah, they will be.
Because here's the number. I'll close on this. Noel Perry put it in his outline. I talked about it with Craig Fuller. I've talked about it all over the place. We're going to lose somewhere between 400,000 and 500,000 drivers out of this marketplace, because they should have never been in the market to begin with, because they're not normal entrants into the marketplace. They came from outside of our country. They came from parts of the marketplace that don't know how to be in heavy duty Class 8 hauling. that once we get rid of all those, rates should stabilize back. Now, that's not going to be an easy or an unpainful process. So listen to Kevin, pay attention to your numbers, understand how to have an efficient operation, and you're going to end up on the good side of this thing, no doubt.
I have, in what they're calling the worst freight recession and the worst market and all the upheaval we're going through, I've never been more optimistic about the owner-operator market than I am right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Good stuff coming.
100%.
All right.
All right, buddy. Well, man, sorry I was late. Thanks for letting me take care of my mom.
That's all right. I kept you 7 minutes over, good. So we're good.
Well, that's okay. Well, I love being with you. I love the tribe. Love being a part of it. Hey, by the way, I got to meet a bunch of the tribe at the NASDAQ conference, and man, it was so great to spend time with friends, friends. Man, we were just sitting around chewing the fat, having fun. And it was so great. I mean, I really enjoyed everything from the NASDAQ conference. It was great to be with you as well, Kevin.
You could tell the tribe crew because they hung out together, which was awesome. It was a great group.
Around all these different tables.
Yeah,
it was a great group. All right, pal. I'll talk to you soon. We'll catch you next week, and see you then.
All right. Thanks as always. All right. Phone lines are open. Time to get to the calls. We're going to get started in Michigan. It is a free-for-all for the rest of the hour. Michael, welcome. Oh, Michael, are you there?
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
There you are. I guess we're looking at an oil sample today.
Yes.
All right. So, I just noticed. Is this your a generator, like a diesel-powered generator?
No, it's a farm tractor.
It's a farm tractor. Okay, I just noticed that. The only thing to really talk about on the sample is nothing major. It lists that you've got John Deere oil in here. Is that correct?
Yeah, they call it plus 50 number 2.
Have you ever topped it off, or is there any chance that some other oil got put in?
Not that I know of.
Okay. The reason I say that is all the yellow that you see, which is fuel dilution is green at 3.3. That means there's no fuel dilution at all, really. All the yellow that you see is because those are all additives. The additive levels do not match that oil. What we would expect to see, every oil has a different additive package. Some oils don't use molybdenum at all, moly. There's moly in here at a level we would never expect in this oil. I don't think John Deere has moly in their oil at all. The others, boron, magnesium, calcium, phosphorus, those are in almost every additive package, but in different amounts. That's kind of like the oil manufacturer's secret sauce. Because base oil is base oil. It's a commodity. It all comes out of the ground. It's the additive package that makes oils different. And this report is just telling us these don't match what we would expect to see in that oil.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
I was hoping that it was like a 1030, but when I called about it, they're like it's 1540.
Yeah, and the viscosity matches that. This would be a 1540. In a tractor, I don't know that it matters much. If you went to a lighter weight synthetic, you do get better protect. Do you use this tractor a lot?
In the summertime, yes. Wintertime, only to make snow piles. After I plow.
Got it. The biggest advantage to going to a synthetic in this, it's pretty hard to wear out a tractor engine unless you farm full time. Like, I'm still using a Ford tractor from 1970, and the thing works great. And I don't, I throw Rotella in it and don't even think about changing the oil except once a year. I just don't use it enough. So, I don't want to spend a lot of extra money for synthetic. The one advantage, and I will probably throw synthetic in when I do change the oil on this, it's just cold weather starting is the biggest advantage you're going to get in a tractor. It'll just start a lot easier in cold weather.
Okay. I mainly wanted to get this done with OPS and then send in another oil sample through John Deere and see if they match up, and also see if they have the fuel dilution chart.
My guess is, I'm going to guess, and then I'd love for you to send me the results when you do this. We can talk about it. My guess is you're not going to see this level of fuel dilution. Our lab is really, really sensitive to fuel dilution. And a lot of labs today, you can't trust their fuel dilution number at all because their equipment isn't able to analyze the new fuel blends. That's part of the problem with finding fuel dilution now is we have so many different blends. We have all the biofuels, the biomass fuels, the synthetic diesel, which is, not really on the market yet. But fuel formulations have changed so much that it requires a pretty major upgrade in equipment for testing it. And Horizon is one of the few labs that their equipment is overly sensitive. That's why when I see 3.3, that's almost zero to me.
Yes. That's good to know. What about the base in fuel properties, 3.01?
That's a legitimate number. That is the one number on here that is legitimate. What that tells us, what year is this tractor?
2014.
So I wouldn't know on tractors. Any emissions on this thing at all? Do you know?
It has a chamber, which one injector squirts diesel in there to clean up the chamber. So
got it. Okay.
I want to say it's an incendiary. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So more of an after treatment.
Yes.
So that all this is saying is that this engine consumes the base. So this engine is creating somewhat. Now it's hard for me to do this because we don't have miles, and even if you gave me hours, I don't normally use hours. But all this is telling us is that this engine is consuming the base. The base is there to counteract acid. So combustion builds up acid. Inefficient combustion builds up more acid. So when we see an engine that goes through a lot of base quickly, it's a sign that we don't have really efficient combustion. We might look at airflow, injectors, are they streaming or spraying properly? Anything that could cause inefficient combustion will consume base faster. Now, I don't know if this consumed this base fast or not, because I don't know how long the oil's been in there, how much it's been run. Even if I knew the hours, it would be I can't really calculate it, but I don't care about it either. At 3, you still have plenty. It's only when we get below 1 that we start being concerned at all. Here's the other thing. I don't know what the original base was on this oil. This isn't an oil I deal with very often. So it might start with lower base. And a lot of the newer oils are putting less and less base in because it's just not required on the new modern engines.
Yes.
So there's nothing at all I see in this sample that would concern me.
Awesome. Because I do use the Pittsburgh Power catalyst in it. And
Good.
Of course, John Deere, they recommend 200 hours on the oil, change it, and I'm at 278, I believe. And if it's good, I'm going to leave it in at least the winter.
There's no reason to change this oil.
Awesome. All right. I did talk to Eric through email, and I sent him a photo of John Deere's sampling bottle. So maybe I'll be able to call in tomorrow and
perfect.
We can talk about it, or he can bring it up and he can talk about it because I found it really neat.
Okay. Excellent.
All right, Kevin. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Maybe we'll talk to you tomorrow. Let's, phone lines are open. I've got some calls, but I've got time and room. 855-950-3835. It is a free-for-all now. We'll talk about whatever is on your mind. Let's go to Texas. Daniel, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon or good morning.
Yes. What's on your mind today?
Hey, I got a Hey, you know what? I was wondering if, I'm on the calls for the Thursday calls sometimes when I get a chance to get in and get situated and all that stuff for the
Group coach.
for the
Yeah.
Thursday after the coaching.
Yeah.
I was wondering if actually it was a Chuck question, but I was wondering, am I allowed to ask stuff about that coaching stuff too, or is that strictly for better for like Thursday?
I do. If you're in the coaching program, I'll answer any question you have for me. It could be health, it could be trucking, it could be homesteading, it could be financial planning, retirement accounts, whatever, taxes. So in coaching, I'll answer any question you want.
Okay. So I can get in a quick question for the on the coaching that was going to do with coaching
Sure.
right now too, or
Yeah, why not? Go
okay.
ahead.
Well, I guess I'll start with that then. Hey, because on my coaching, what I have going on is I caught like a bug flu down there. Like I ate in Mexico, and I got like a fevers and all that stuff, and I couldn't eat. So we've been doing like I think right now we're on the Atral.
Okay.
I think that's what we're doing right now is like the Atral, and we're doing
Wait. Stop.
the
Stop.
Beta Plus,
Atrantil, you mean, right?
the ones that's a green bottle from you guys, the green package from you guys.
Yeah. I think you're talking about Atrantil.
Yeah, it was 2 a day or 2 with each meal because I don't have them
Yes.
with me in the truck.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 with each meal. The
Right.
long one. Okay. Well, so I'm taking those right there. But on the, I was wondering because I still have still get the stomach cramp when I'm eating, after I eat and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I was thinking the stress, like if I have some family stress, does that help with that too? Does that make that worse too? Or is that something different from the stomach pain?
No,
from eating?
They are absolutely correlated, tied together. And let me explain how and why. So here's what stress is. You know, we all use the word. We know that we have a lot of stress in our life. Our world's stressful, all of it. But here's what stress really is. Go back to hunter-gatherer days. Stress was this. Stress is what you've heard the term fight or flight, right?
Right.
That's stress. That's what stress is. Stress is our fight or flight response being activated. Now, when we lived as hunter-gatherers, this kept us alive. But it only activated once in a while, and when it was over, it was over. So, for example, you're just, living your hunter-gatherer lifestyle, and you're out hunting animals and doing your thing, and there's no stress. There's no fight or flight response. But we weren't at the top of the food chain. There were things that could eat us. There were other tribes that, we might fight with. If you were walking down the path and the saber-toothed tiger jumped out, that's fight or flight. At that point, your body, everything about your physiology changes. And it is designed to keep you alive. So one of the first things, the stress response or the fight or flight response, the first thing it does is shuts off your digestion. Because digestion takes a lot of energy. And the body says, hey, look, that brontosaurus rib you just ate, it's not really important that we digest that right this minute because the saber-toothed tiger is about to eat you. So it shuts off digestion and diverts all of that energy to fight or flight. Adrenaline goes up, all the stress hormones go up, our liver starts cranking out sugar because sugar is a very quick energy source. So everything about our physiology changes. Now, once that moment is over, we either run away from the saber-toothed tiger or we kill it, then all of those stress hormones go away. And we might go days or weeks or sometimes months in a situation like that without ever having that response again. The problem with our modern lifestyle is everything activates that. Traffic, stress at work, fighting with a spouse or a friend or a relative, everything about our lifestyle now activates that stress response. And the first thing it does
and
is
I've been noticing that too with work.
Yeah. And the first thing it does is shut off your digestion. So yes, that's why we have a country full of people with digestive problems. Stress is a huge part of it.
Okay, so it's better. So if I have the opportunity, because I know a lot of people don't have opportunities to go for like counseling and all that stuff, to just where they're at or the cost of it and stuff like that. So it's better because I went one time.
So hold on.
I didn't go back.
Hold on. I've got a very strong opinion about this. Imagine that, me having a very strong opinion. It's just my
no, not Kevin.
Yeah, but it's just my opinion. That's all it is. I'm not a huge believer in talk therapy. Now, if it helps you and you feel better, then absolutely do it. But here's where I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on a lot of this. There's another factor in our stress response. It's that our brain's neurotransmitters are all messed up. And they're all messed up because of our diet and our lifestyle and our overwhelming amounts of stress and our gut bacteria. So you can talk all you want, but if your neurotransmitters in your brain are a mess, it's probably not going to help much. So, like I said, if you go to therapy and you feel better and you feel less stressed, then keep doing it. Keep doing anything that makes you feel less stressed. But the real key here is we have to get you metabolically healthy, and then your neurotransmitters will be healthy, and you won't respond so poorly to stress. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, and that's the food part of it, right?
That's the food part of it.
The diet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and maybe I'll touch base with you on Thursday there. I'll try and see if I can get on there Thursday. We can talk about it a little bit more, I guess.
Yep.
I'll keep it for that. Okay. That at least gives me a good idea right there on that, because I'm at home right now because I was getting ready to leave. Now, okay. Now on the truck part there. What I was wondering about is right now a good time to upgrade on a truck if you need one. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how the market's getting worse or getting better with the used trucks and all that stuff. Because I don't know if it's a good time right now to get something like a 2 or 3 year old truck, like maybe 300,000 miles in that area.
Very possible. It's not a bad time. I mean, truck prices are low. I predict they're actually going to get lower again, just because when we have lots of bankruptcies, that's what happens. The market gets flooded. If the number's right, almost 30 carriers of 250 trucks each, just do the math on how many trucks that just put back into the market. We don't have all the people flooding into the market like we did a couple years ago. So I predict, if anything, truck prices are just going to stay flat, or they're actually going to go down again. And if they go down from here, the bargains are going to be incredible, because used trucks today are a great bargain. So yeah, if it's time to replace a truck, this is not a bad time at all. It's a good time. Might get even better in the next year. But it's not bad where it is right now. Okay.
Because I think right now I'm still financially stable to where I can still pay cash for a truck,
Perfect.
Because I think, because what on some of these trucks right now, some of these like the pack car stuff, not pack car motor, but like the pack car, because I've already tried out like the Volvo and the Freightliner, like through Penske, because I have a Penske account for whenever like a truck breaks down or something from the past. So I took advantage of that about 6-7 months ago, because I already had it in my mind. I wanted to start looking around for something newer with less miles and stuff like that.
I know where you're going here. Let me just say one thing, because I had Penske rentals for 20 plus years, and I don't know what they do to their trucks, but don't ever use
And the
that.
rear ends.
I can't even figure out what it is. But my drivers, even when my trucks were 1 million plus miles, because I kept my trucks to about 1 million to 1.3 million, even when they were over 1 million miles old, I'd go get a brand new rental and my drivers would bitch about it all week. They did not like those trucks. And I would look at the fuel mileage and think, what is wrong with this thing? I don't know what Penske does, but don't use that as evidence of anything, because their trucks are, they're just awful for some reason.
Okay. Could I try out that Volvo, and that thing had real low miles, but you know, like where I'm at, I'm in a bad area for Volvos. But what I was gonna do right now this week, I was gonna go to to MHC Kenworth right here where I live at, and I was gonna go try and rent like as new of a truck as they have.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I've already talked to them. I just got to go down there right now, and because they have pretty new trucks for rental.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I was gonna go because I got a pack car right now, and I'm not getting no pack cars, no more the motor.
Right.
No, so I want to go with the Cummins again. But I remember before I already had a Cummins with the X15 with the 400 horsepower, 264 rears and all that stuff, and the 12-speed endurance, and it didn't do real good. It was a 2019, so I was like, well, maybe I'll try it again right here with this rental, and then see right there. But do you think for if I do, go ahead.
Renting a truck is a great idea. Absolutely. Figure out what you like.
Just get an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. So 5,000, because I was kind of rough estimating it. Like if I use it for a good month, I think 2 weeks would give me an idea where I do the same stuff pretty much it's all heavy.
Yeah.
But do you think a month would be too much money wasted on a month?
If you could rent it for 2 weeks instead, I would. I think 2 weeks is plenty.
Okay, that's what I'll do right there. I'm going to go down there right now and try and see, because I said, and then say what have you been seeing on some of those 3-year-old trucks right now? What have they been running like anywhere from in 100 or under 100, right?
Yeah.
Or
well,
have you
let's
been
see, 3-year-old truck
stuff?
now would be a 22. Yeah, they should be under 100 by now. I have not been paying. I watch the 5 to 6-year-old market a lot more, and that kind of stuff's down into the 40s and 50s now, and those are huge bargains. But 2 and 3-year-old. Here's my target, my sweet spot for trucks. I'd like to find a truck that's just about a year old, a used truck right around a year. That they take the biggest.
Well, if I can find one for a reasonable.
Yes. Yeah, they take the biggest hit on price and depreciation in that first year. And when you buy a truck that's a year or less, you might as well be buying a brand new truck. I mean, it doesn't have enough. They went through the break-in period for you, is about all that happened. They did the break-in for you, and they took the huge hit on depreciation. And those trucks, to me, were always the biggest bargains.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I think before I was seeing something like a 24 Kenworth with the X15 and all that stuff. Everything's X15 pretty much. But I was seeing something like nice specs and all that stuff inside. Nice truck and inside and out. I was seeing it for 148,000 miles, and it was 144.
Yeah. I think those are going to come down.
You can get a brand new 26 model from Peterbilt for 190.
Well,
that's the thing. You can get a brand new for 190 at Peterbilt.
But hold on. Let's think about that for a second. That's $40,000 difference. Almost $50,000 difference for 1 year. Think about it. If the truck cost you $50,000 every year, that's outrageous. So to be able to get a 1-year-old truck for almost $50,000 less, that's my point. That's huge.
So is that a good deal or not a good deal?
That's a fantastic deal.
It's a bad one, right?
Think about this. Would you pay $50,000 a year to rent a truck? No.
Probably not.
No, the answer is no. Hell no. That's outrageous.
No. Yeah.
That's how. But that's what somebody did. Whoever bought that truck and then put it back on the market for whatever reason, it cost them $50,000 to own that truck for the first year. They went through break-in. They went through all the new trucks have more problems than used trucks do. Every new truck I ever bought, the first year was where I had to fix all the little stuff that wasn't exactly right. So by waiting and buying that 1-year-old truck for $50,000 less in this case is the best bargain you're ever going to find.
Okay.
Now, if that's in your, that has to be in your budget too, though, because I know you want to pay cash, and I that's a great thing. That's why the market I tend to watch is that $40,000 to $60,000 price range, because that's a better startup truck, and I help people a lot with startup.
Yeah, and then my truck right now is a 14 with 1.2 million miles on it there. So I don't want to, you know what I mean? That's kind of in that area, right? A 14 model.
No,
so I kind of like go up there.
That makes a lot of sense.
If it's something that money, if it's like that high.
Yeah.
Because say like if it's 144 and say like that I don't want to pay all cash, you know what I mean? Like that 144, is it kind of like, kind of stupid to like finance a little bit, like maybe
no, not at all.
Half of it, not half of it, but
even half. I am not against financing equipment. If that is a bigger bargain, if that is a better purchase, and you don't want to use all your cash, then yeah, finance it. I mean, get the best deal you can, shop around for the best rate, pay it off as fast as you can. You know, try to take a 2-year loan instead of a 4-year loan. Be very aggressive in how fast you pay it off. But I'm not against financing equipment.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Like that, I haven't had a truck or trailer payment or a house payment.
Oh, it's nice.
Like
yeah,
years or something.
It's nice. But if this is the case where these 1-year-old trucks are a real bargain, and in the numbers you just gave me, that is a bargain, then I'm okay financing it.
Okay. And then 279 rears. This one has that's the only thing. It has 279 rears with a 500 horsepower. That's a little bit.
There's so many other factors. That's where the coaching program is a better fit. So we can look at what transmission's in it, what are those gear ratios in the transmission, what tire size is on it, what tire size might we switch to. 279 is one of the rear ends I might use today, although it's a little low for me. I think we're probably going to be better off in the 240. Even 264s sometimes are too low for some of these new trucks. But all the other factors matter. So I can't just pick a rear end ratio. I have to know all the other things, including the weights you pull, where you run, what speed you like to run. All of that matters.
Okay. And then, you know what would be a good, you know what, I guess there would be a good on that rental. Is that rental that they said that there's going to be the same truck pretty much, just a different, like a rental spec? That one has 279 rear, so that'll give me an idea, right? More or less, or
yeah, it's probably going to tell us that we don't want 279s, but go ahead and get it. I mean, rent it and drive it, but we're probably not going to see great fuel mileage. I didn't like the 264s. I was, and then because I asked the Kenworth guy over there at the Peterbilt, and they said that they won't spec lower than 264 from factory because startup. Because of the durability on startup, and I was asking, they said that's just math. But this is why I can't just say 264s are good or bad or 247s would be better, because startability. In order to startability, that's what they're talking about. That's the word for it. It's math. But in order to know the math, we have to know the transmission low gears is where this comes in. What is low gear and reverse? What are those ratios? Then we need to know the tire size. Then we could calculate. Now, this always confuses people. You just technically use the word 264 being too low, it's too high. Or they're saying it's too high. I'm not. The smaller the number, the higher the rear end ratio is. This gets confusing to a lot of people. So I try to say it the right way. Once we know all those other things, transmission ratios, tire size, all that, then we could go in and calculate what is the highest gear ratio, lowest number that we can put in this truck, because that gives us better fuel mileage on the top end, but still gives us the right startability. Now, here's the other thing I will tell you about startability. I will push the manufacturer to put a ratio in there that they think is wrong. Because with a good driver, we can push those startability limits a little bit. You don't want to put student drivers in there. That's why fleets should never do this. But a good owner-operator, I'll push those startability limits a little bit if it gives us a better ratio at highway speed. This is where PACCAR and Cummins, mostly PACCAR, still has a problem. They don't have a transmission with a good low gear and low reverse, so you can't spec the ratios we want sometimes. Where Volvo Mack by far offer the best low-range transmission on the market. It's got crazy low gears. Freightliner's got some pretty good options. PACCAR's just really missing the boat on this one.
Yeah, I know. I wish they would catch up, right? And the bad thing about, like, say, like where I live at, there's a Volvo here, and when I went to go, it's a Vanguard dealership. And then when I went in to go talk to the salesman about at the beginning of the year, I believe he didn't even, like, on those 230s or whatever, like under the 240s, right, for that new Volvo. He didn't even know anything. Like, oh, that's too low.
Right. Well, and again, he's saying it wrong. It's too high. I got one more quick question for you, and I'll let you go there. Just so you know where we are.
Yeah, too high.
We are looking at potentially speccing 1.9 ratios now in the Volvos.
Wow. And that's with the that 12-speed, right? Or the 13-speed I or whatever.
Well, the 13 and 14, the I
or something like that.
Yeah, both of those can have really low. Hey, Daniel, I got to cut you loose. Calls are starting to pile up on me. Some of that deeper spec stuff is what we can do in coaching. I got to get some calls here before we've got to wrap this up today. Let's go to Oklahoma. Paul, welcome.
Howdy.
What's on your mind today?
My fleet minute will move over to someone on the shoulder. My fleet manager sent me an email last week from TA Petro.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Let me go out here. My signal's not real good. From TA Petro.
Yeah.
And they will not do roadside repairs or tire changes or anything now.
Really?
If you can make it into a parking lot or... Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I asked the guy that I go to over there over in Oklahoma City, I said, so did TA Petro have some employees get killed? And he said, yes. Very recently, they had one killed in Arkansas and one somewhere up north. People don't move over.
I was going to say, I'll bet it's far more common than we know. Every time I see somebody working on the side of the road, it just freaks me out. I wouldn't even change a tire. Now, I've been the guy is forever saying, stop limping a flat tire to get to a tire shop. If you have to get it off the side of the highway to the very next exit or even a wide pullout space if there's something, don't limp it all the way to the truck shop. But I hate the idea of working on anything on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And here's part of the problem. And this is why...
What's happening?
This is why I am actually looking forward to more autonomous technology in vehicles, because people suck at driving today. Yep. Every time I have to go out on the highway, I am shocked at how bad it is. The trip from Memphis to Nashville and back to Memphis, I felt like I was taking my life in my own hands. What happened to people? They're total idiots when they drive anymore. They can't maintain their own lane. Everybody drives 80 miles an hour no matter what the speed limit is, and nobody seems to write any tickets for that anymore. It's awful out there. Seriously.
Well, I think if you'd gone a little bit further and you go between Memphis and Little Rock, that is one of the most dangerous piece of highways that I drive on there. I'm 100% sure of it.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. And I did do that. Not that back in March, I took 40 all the way across. And you're right. But I'm shocked because I only really get out on the highways a couple times a year anymore. I live in my own little bubble out here in the country. Yeah. So it's like I notice the difference. And the one that makes me insane, I talk about this when I come back from every trip, people cannot maintain their lane anymore. That just makes me crazy how many people can't stay in their own lane.
Well, I've worked out one reason where a lot of people can't maintain their lane is because they follow people too close. They can't see the lines. That's one reason.
And the other one is they're probably filming TikTok videos.
If you're riding 10 feet off someone's bumper.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree with that one. You're right. They follow too close. There's too many distractions. They're reading text or watching YouTube videos or filming TikTok videos. Bring on the autonomous technology. And I got to tell you, we had a cheap rental car, one of Hyundai's cheaper models, and it had the self-driving mode as far as staying in the lane by itself, and it works really well. I wish more people would just turn that on.
Did you have a Kona or an Elantra?
Kona.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I deliver a lot of those.
Yeah, it's a cheap little, nothing special about it. But, it had hardly any options at all. And yet it had the stay in your lane mode. And you could take your hands off the steering wheel and it follows around corners and it stays in the lane the way it's supposed to.
I guess I don't hold on to my steering wheel tight enough in the car. My Kia, it'll tell me, keep hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
Keep hands on the wheel. So I could got my hand on the wheel, so I'm not a white knuckle guy. So occasionally I just got to squeeze it a bit.
Yeah. I'm not either, but in this Kona, I could just take my hands completely off the wheel for quite a long time before it would give you any warning at all.
My car tells me to keep my hand on the wheel frequently. So,
keep your eyes on the road. It watches that too.
I don't know if you saw, but did you see that Jerry Fritz passed away?
No.
He used to call many years ago. Yeah, he passed away.
That's sad.
Must mean just last week or something. Someone just posted on the tribe site this morning.
Okay. Too much of that going on these days.
That's all I got today.
All right. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Let's go to Nevada. Tom, welcome.
Is it Nevada or Nevada? Is it Nevada or Nevada?
Nevada.
Nevada, yeah. People back east say Nevada. It drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
I saw a guy... I saw a guy in the work zone in New York get hit by didn't see him. I was there right afterwards. Left his liver in the middle of the road, knocked him down the embankment, killed him dead on a doornail. And it's still, yeah. There was no reason for it. The guy just didn't get over for the work zone guy, but. Knocked his work boots off him.
Oh,
which that's still.
How does that happen?
The physics of that. You know what I mean?
I have never understood
I just don't understand that.
I don't either. I've never. It's funny you say it like that because every time I see an accident where somebody gets knocked out of their shoes, I'm like, if you're wearing Crocs, I can get it. But if you've got lace-up shoes and it knocks work boots, I don't understand the physics of that at all.
No, they were 6-inch work boots too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've pulled my shoe off getting stuck in the mud, but
that's hard.
That wasn't an easy task either.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand the physics of that
I
at all.
don't either.
Hey, so I've been off for like 6 weeks, man. I don't remember if you. Well, before I forget, did I ever run by you the baking soda? You know, do you use baking soda much?
I don't. I do remember you mentioning it, and I know I see it on posts all the time. I just have not gotten around to doing that research.
No, it was anyway, that Arm & Hammer, that was the old go-to. You just figured they dug it out of the ground. Well, no, not necessarily true. It's just another, fallacy that we believed forever.
Well,
anyway,
like stupid
Bob's Red
citric
has
acid.
the baking soda. See, yeah, when you went down that rabbit hole, look where that.
Sheesh.
And so that's another thing, right? Yeah, right. So I had my uric acid went up to 11.5. I don't know if I told you, but and then my kidneys started to fail. My blood pressure still hasn't really gone down, but that's my home monitor that I've got now. Like this one's 158 over 112, and now that they've got me on the allopurinol, which is I'm just going to have to. I don't want to take any pharmaceuticals, but for a while anyway, I've got no choice.
You do have another choice.
You know what I mean?
Well, maybe in the very, very short term.
Well, I don't know what it would be.
The coaching program.
Right.
One of the things I didn't want to spend a lot of time on today, but it's a free-for-all, and we're talking about health. Just this morning, KBMO has got an awesome test. It's not even released yet. I shouldn't talk too much about it, but I've mentioned that it's coming out. We are part of their beta testing on it because they're a great partner of ours. Oh, nice. So Lisa and I both took the test right before we left on this trip, and our results came back just as we got back, and I scheduled time this morning. Lisa and I had a call with the founder of the test, the guy who created this. There's nothing else like this on the market. And it is a urinalysis, which is really nice because you can do it at home. You don't need labs. You don't even have to poke yourself for blood. You just pee in the cup. What this test was able to tell us is incredible. We get mitochondrial function. We did verify, and I'm totally convinced of it now, that some of the things we've struggled with Lisa on her health, because she has a really clean diet, she has really good health results in a lot of areas, but there are a couple little things we haven't been able to solve. I am now convinced it is mold. Her mold numbers are off the
mold.
Yes, hers are off the charts. And I have elevated. It was the only marker on my entire test that was out of range. And mine's slightly elevated. And that makes sense. We've both been exposed to the same
source. And that's because of the coach.
No, actually, I don't think it is. We both work at home, but we work on opposite ends of the house, and it's a big house. Her office is right below the master shower, and the master shower sprung a leak behind the wall, and we had water coming down the wall for probably over a year. And it finally started to stain the drywall. Just a little. It stained the drywall a little. You get those water stains. We're like, well, why is there a water stain there? So we finally tracked it down to the shower, and we did the mold testing in the house, and her office was off the charts. So we moved her over. Now she's on my side of the house. And it is my side of the house. She's yelling at me that it's not my side of the house. Just like my favorite book.
My side. I heard her in the back there.
My side of the mountain. Yeah, this is my side of the mountain. But I let her stay here because I care about her health. So we need to get the mold.
Because you love her.
That's right. We need to get it. The walls are going to have to be tore out, and they're going to have to fix that. But we also have to detox her. Because once you have these, they develop the biofilms, and they do not go away. And it's actually the biofilm that produces the toxins day after day after day that's the problem. It's those toxins that are being created because we've got to break the biofilms on that mold. So the guy we had the meeting with this morning actually recommended a good book. So I'm going to go read it, and then I'll tell everybody about it. But it's all about mold exposure, how to detox from it. But every other marker that was bad for her all comes back to the mold. That was her only real issue, but it's affecting her brain. It's affecting her neurotransmitters. Go ahead.
And this is the test that you're doing the beta test for?
Yes. Yeah, we don't know when it's going to be out. We're as soon as it's out, we will have it. And this may become a very integral part of our coaching. I mean, I'm almost thinking about creating a package where you have to have this test to be in coaching. I mean, I see the potential of this test in so many ways. Now, there's a really interesting set of markers on there that did not show up for me, and they should have. So when we did the meeting this morning and the doctor asked for some background, I immediately told him about our diet and what it's been for 10 years, very low carb, keto, carnivore. And he said, oh, well, he said, that explains Lisa's markers. She has markers for high ketones and producing ketones and all the byproducts. And he said, but you don't. And I said, what? And he said, well, obviously Lisa's far more into ketosis than you are most days. And I said, no, that's not true. So I have 0 markers for ketones, none. Like I flatlined. I'm at 0 on every marker for ketones. I said, that's not right.
How's that possible?
Yeah, so he's going to do some research. I'm going to do some research and figure out and that's why they do this kind of beta testing. You find these weird edge cases. I'm probably going to turn out to be some weird edge case. I know I produce ketones. I measure them. I haven't in a long time, but I haven't changed the way I eat. I use brain or mind fuel in the morning, which every time I wore the continuous ketone monitor not that long ago. And I was producing plenty of ketones. In fact, I know that I typically produce more ketones than Lisa does. So it's odd that she had the markers for ketones. I had 0. And it's not ketones that they're measuring.
That's interesting.
They're measuring
I'll have to look into
other byproducts of ketones. And I have none.
Right.
But
maybe your body's just
I do have
used to them that you're not producing those.
That's what we have to figure out. Now, this test actually uses it as almost a warning. Even AI was saying that the fact that I had 0 ketones was a good thing because it proves my body handles carbohydrates well. Yeah, well, okay, I get that there's a couple ways you can look at this, but I want to see ketones. I know my body handles carbohydrates well. That's fine, but I rather fuel myself on fat and ketones, and I am. So why don't I have these markers? So that's one of the things we'll figure out. And again, that's why.
Does that urine test also do the uric acid?
It does not do uric acid directly. Like it doesn't do. This is almost all what they call metabolites. And then those are markers that point to the other things that are happening. Almost all of those other things, you have to use blood to test them directly. Ketone or urine is, remember, we're eliminating things in our urine. So that's what happens to metabolites. And that's why we can measure this in urine, and we're not measuring the direct marker. We're measuring the metabolites of the marker, which in some ways can be more accurate. Here's one of the things that it does measure.
That's why my kidneys took a shit, probably.
Yeah. Here's one of the things that it does measure that we're interested in is oxalates. We can tell oxalate levels.
Yeah. It does, huh? Okay.
Yeah, it does. Neurotransmitters. Here's it measures
And then
the Krebs cycle and citric acid, and it turns out I have very, very healthy mitochondria. That's a good sign.
do a good thing.
Yeah.
And then I learned this morning that grass-fed beef, like your Wild Planet little pouches, that I got a crap load of them, and
Good.
Then I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to eat them because of my uric acid.
Yeah.
30% less purines in grass-fed beef than
I never knew that.
Beef you get across the.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Did not know
30%,
that.
which is not insignificant.
Oh no, that's big.
Yeah, and not insignificant.
big.
That's according to, yeah. And I didn't know that purines, your body dumps purines. You get most of your purines are already in you, and your body's
Correct.
dumping them. So just the little bit of more purines that you get, yeah, that's something else. So anyway, I got to pull some more labs. So I would love to go in the coaching program. That's not going to happen for another month or two until I can get back to work. So
Got it.
But yeah, cool. I just thought it would share that. I appreciate everything, man.
Yeah. We'll keep calling. We'll get it figured out. Like I now here's another thing. So I'm also interested in the test that Sarah sent me a week or two ago that measures mitochondria directly. And I mentioned that with the doctor this morning, and he's going to go research that. Lisa's going to take hers today. That's a cheek swab. And then I'm going to get with that doctor, and we're going to see if these two tests correlate and if there's any reason to take both, or so I have him helping me with that whole thing too. The biggest problem I have with this mitome test is it's $700 and you have to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get your results.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that makes it a little bit tougher on the average.
Yeah.
On the average Joe.
Yeah, that's
but hopefully that Beyond Gold honey can break that film on
the biofilms. That's
mold.
Certainly going to be part of the protocol. Now, I'm going to read this book because that's where I think I'm going to learn a lot about building better protocols for this. But no matter what the protocol is, knowing what I know about the honey, that will always be part of whatever protocol we put out, because there's just so many benefits to the honey itself, and one of them is that it does break the biofilms. Now, there's other things. We can use things like oregano oil, and
nothing
even
else does it.
Even Mind Fuel can help. Now, Lisa doesn't take Mind Fuel because she doesn't digest it well. So she uses coconut oil, but Mind Fuel itself, caprylic acid, can break biofilms.
Yeah, that's interesting. I might have to take some sort of test to see if my because I'm in the truck, and every once in a while you'll spill water. It'll go underneath that little rubber mat or whatever, and wonder if that's.
I don't think I don't think that there's a big risk in the truck of developing those kind of molds. I might be wrong, but. One of the things we're thinking about is we got to get out of this house because the first thing you have to do is separate yourself from the source, and we know the source is here in the house. My body seems to be handling it okay, but there's a couple reasons for that too. So we're thinking about moving over to the homestead full time. For now, at least. It's just not really set up for us.
That's what I do.
Well, it's just not.
Until you get
it's not conducive to our daily workflow over there. So we got to figure that out. But the way that house is built, the odds of that house having mold are slim to none. It's solid wood inside. There's no drywall.
None. It's all wood.
Yeah, right. It's just the odds that there's ever going to be a mold problem over there are slim to none. Whereas, modern houses with drywall and tons of insulation that can hold moisture and lousy construction practices, whoever built this house is big and nice as it was supposed to be, some of the construction was really shoddy. We had windows completely missing their flashing.
That was your neighbor.
Yeah, I know. Well, he was a part of it.
Yeah, that was your neighbor.
I know. He was a part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You live and learn that lesson. But you know, but with the Freightliners, you know, if you've ever cracked a windshield, you got to replace the window. They always leak.
It's possible.
So you're probably getting water down into the vents for the air conditioner. I don't know. It'd be interesting to do like a swab just to send it back.
We've done, there's called an Hermes test. We've done that one on the house. And then there's a Swiffer test that actually you use a little duster thing and you pick up all the dust and you actually test the dust.
Okay.
I think a truck would be really accurate. You know, the bigger a house is, the harder it is to test. You need multiple kits and you got to do multiple rooms. And
sure.
We had to do that on this house, and we found out that, sure enough, the highest concentration of mold was in her office. That's one of the reasons she got a bigger dose. We found out something else interesting that I learned this morning. So what our body needs to combat the mold itself, not kill the mold or the biofilms, but combat all those toxins that this mold puts out in your body every day. We need glutathione. That's our master antioxidant that will fight this kind of stuff so you don't get all the effects of it. The precursor for glutathione is NAC, N-acetyl, I can never get the words right.
Choline.
Yeah, acetyl.
Choline.
Yeah, NAC. We'll just stick with NAC. You can supplement NAC, and your body will convert it to glutathione. You can also supplement liposomal glutathione. And Cardio Miracle, by the way, has both. The interesting thing was, Lisa never switched to the new Cardio Miracle because she doesn't like the taste. And the old one does not have NAC or glutathione. Those were the two additions in the new formulation. She never switched. But it turns out, at first I thought, well, you need to just get over the taste and switch because we need to supplement NAC and glutathione for you to help with this while we're fixing it. Well, now what I learned was her NAC is way elevated. And I thought, well, that's odd. She's not supplementing NAC, but her glutathione is really low. Well, it turns out it's genetic. Her body does not convert NAC to glutathione well. So her NAC levels stay very high because she's not converting it, and her glutathione levels stay low. So what we need to do for her is only supplement the glutathione. She doesn't need any more NAC. That's not a good idea. But we need to, so we can just do a straight liposomal glutathione for her, which we have in the store. So Chelsea will be bringing some up today.
It's 20. Oh, you do have it?
We do have it.
Okay. Because 25 milligrams is what that dose. Yeah, on the Cardio Miracle that I've got is 25 milligrams of glutathione.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the daily recommended dose is because there's asterisks by it, but
there probably isn't a recommended. This is one that what we'll do here is, and I would rather just use a straight liposomal glutathione. That's the best way to supplement this. Now, when you're getting it every day in the Cardio Miracle with the NAC, for most people, that's plenty. When somebody's under a heavy toxic load, then we do go to a pure liposomal glutathione, which is what we'll do with her. And then we'll test again and see how much that moves the needle on the glutathione levels. My glutathione levels are excellent, but I also supplement every day, and I supplement NAC.
I know,
and I convert NAC well. My NAC levels stay low, my glutathione levels stay high.
That's perfect then.
Right.
Yeah, I know that mold isn't something you want to mess with. My uncle was a fisherman, and he just go off, and it fished. That's what he did for a living. Just fished off of like Long Beach there, and one day he come down with a cough, and they found it was mold in his lungs. And I killed him within like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And there was nothing they could do about it.
Yeah.
So
well, one of
don't take mold
this
lightly.
I'm
not sure what kind it was, but
I have up until this point, and part of the reason I kind of struggle with the idea of the mold issue is I have not found a good, effective protocol yet. So I'm really excited about this book. There's probably a couple things going on. I have a feeling that the protocols that work are pretty intense, require multiple supplementation, and take more time. And I think we've always given up too early. And the other thing is you have to retest to see. So it can get expensive to do this. But with Lisa right now, I'm going to spend whatever we have to spend. Whatever it costs, we're just going to do it. We're going to keep retesting till we prove that it works. Because the other thing this test shows us is where in the body is it impacting things. And her biggest impact by far is her brain. And it's not good. So,
crazy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how smart she's going to be if you fix this?
Exactly. I know. Can
you imagine?
The first thing I told her was
like an Einstein.
The first thing I told her was, "Oh, well, you're not crazy then." She didn't appreciate that.
She is crazy. She's with you.
Yeah, exactly.
No, right. Yeah, right. You might not want to smarten her up. She'll
I know.
She'll take off.
She'll dump me. I know.
There's that.
Yeah.
Right. Be careful. Right. Be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, bro. Thank you.
All right. Good talking to you. Talk soon.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to Wisconsin. Scott, welcome.
Hey, Kevin, how are you doing today?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, I have, through the help of the tribe and a couple people in there that have really taken me under their wing, I'm purchasing a new-to-me truck.
Okay,
so
good.
I'm going to get away from the big hood, go to a plastic hood.
All right.
Narrowed it down. I'm actually going down to pick up an old Maverick truck. It's got 431,000 miles on it, but it's DD13 with the DT12 and 228 rears.
Oh, nice. See, I have almost forgotten. There was a time where I was recommending Maverick trucks all the time because they've done such a good job of speccing their trucks for years. And then I kind of forgot about it and got away from it. That's a great spec and a great mileage. How much is that truck, by the way?
Yeah, it's 64,000 is what I got it down to.
Nice. That's a bargain.
Oh.
That's a bargain.
Yeah,
what year
didn't
did
think
you
it was
say
bad.
that was?
I mean, it's even got the it's a 22.
Oh yeah, that's a bargain. Wow, what a great setup.
Yeah, it even has, and I don't know how to go about it. And this part of my question is, it has the electric mirrors, but it also still has the traditional mirrors on the outside. Is there an exemption for those that?
Oh, you mean the video?
To remove the outside mirrors and use the electronic ones? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. It's a compliance question, and I try to stay away from compliance, but I need to go look that up.
Right.
I know there were some exemptions, but I don't know if they were only for testing or if they're actually letting us run without the mirrors now. For some reason, I don't think they are. But I'm going to go look that up.
I don't think. Yeah. Well, the reason is I mean, I'm going from a W9 to this thing. So the name is, as you've said all year long, Optimize, and we're going to do it. We're going to change this operation and keeping this truck for a spare. If that one goes down, I still got something to make money with.
Yeah.
I'm not putting a driver in a truck because that's absurd. So,
no, the idea of having a spare truck is always one that I loved. I always kept a spare truck around.
Right. So the question I'm getting to here is, I've never dealt with a dealer. We went to the bank and just got this truck, and that was the end of it. The dealer has not really fought me. The salesman I'm dealing with is great. It's everybody else there that just seems like they want to fight you tooth and nail. I fought getting DDEC reports, and they're like, "Well, you got one. You're buying that truck." I'm like, "Well, no, we're comparing trucks because they're not like cars." And exactly that. They tried to. He found another truck for me. It had 30,000 less miles, but everything else was terrible. There was almost 20% more or 10% more idle time on it.
Oh yeah,
it would been in the shop for a boatload of warranty work.
You know why they don't like this? You're one of the very, very few people that actually make them do their job. This is their job. It shouldn't matter how many questions you have or how many reports you want. That's their job. The thing is, most people never make them do their job, and they'd rather not. But you're doing the right thing. Right. I'll go back to the very first truck I ever bought. These were old, worn out, 3 million plus mile trucks from Roadways Fleet. And I had 11 to pick from. And I spent almost 11 hours and there were no electronics, there were no ECM reports, none of that stuff. But I spent an entire day, a long day, under the hood, under the truck with creepers, over and over and over to pick the best of those 11 trucks. I spent the entire day, and that was without any kind of ECMs or electronics. So you're doing it the right way.
Right. Well, and I could spend a lot more time. Of course, they trade in, 50 trucks at a time. And you could really spend all day doing this. You could spend a month doing this and still never find the right truck. So it's kind of one of them. Narrowed it down, went with my gut on the one that we chose.
Perfect.
You can't really pull oil samples because it's already been serviced.
Correct.
And, coming out of a fleet like that, I'm not too terribly worried about it. But,
I wouldn't be.
The thing is so back to the dealer, they've been very pushy about, we'll send the paperwork up today. You can sign it and just come pick it up. I go, absolutely not. I'm not picking up a truck that I've never seen and signing your paperwork and be on the hook for this thing.
Right.
No way.
Right.
And this finance has tried 3 times to, just sign it. You fly in, you'll go home that day. I'm like, no,
not in a hurry.
Day, but
yeah, right. Not in a hurry.
What am I looking at when I get down there? What should? Yeah, no. I'll go home on them.
Right.
When I get down to that dealer, what should I be looking at in their paperwork? You've done this before, I would assume. What is the red flag that I guess?
So I would be doing
things.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. Your best finance options are probably going to come from the dealer itself. Now, if you have a really good relationship with your bank, or even better yet, if you happen to have a credit union, certainly give them a chance to write the financing for you. Go to them and say, here's what I'm buying. Give me your best deal. And if you want to search other options, you can. Usually one of your best options is either going to be your own bank or credit union. So we always check there. After that, your best options probably are going to come from the dealer. But here's something you should know. In many cases, the dealer makes more money off the financing than they do off the sale of the truck. So what that means is there's more room. Yes, that's why they want you to just sign the papers and take the truck. But just like you were able to negotiate the base price of the truck itself, you can negotiate the financing with them, because they have a lot of room to change that financing. Now, of course, that's why they rush you. Here, just sign, because that's their best deal for them. But if you say, hey, look, I was able to get 3 points lower than this at my own credit union, even if you don't check your own credit union, just tell them that. And then they'll start digging a little deeper, because they'd rather make some profit off the financing rather than none. But if they can just get you to sign, they will.
Right.
Because they've got a ton of margin in that financing. So that would be your next step. Look around to see if you want to get your own financing, get a good deal and a number, and then take it back to them and say, look, my first choice is to finance with you just for ease, but you got to at least match the best deal I have or beat it.
Right. Yeah, we're going to end up going with their finance. Our credit unions up where I live are, and I could dig around to find some, but the ones we work with, they don't want commercial trucks.
Most don't.
It was a miracle we got this one financed through the one we did.
Yeah, most don't.
When I bought this, the value to...
They have a term for this. It's called rolling stock. And the problem is, if they ever need to repossess this truck, they're very, very hard to find.
Right.
That's why they don't like doing it. If they finance your personal, if they finance your personal vehicle, they know where your driveway is and they know where you work. And the odds are when they need to repossess the car, they're going to find it in one of those two places. A commercial truck, you never know where somebody's going to have that thing. So, yeah. But what you can do is just go to the dealer and say, hey, my local credit union beat you guys by a couple points, so I need you to match it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I will, because I'm planning on going down there to 17. Like I said, I'm just going to go with their financing. It'd be realistically the easiest to start a more commercial credit with a bigger company that someone's going to recognize down the road.
Yep.
Than a credit union. They didn't want to acknowledge that the credit union financed this one. So.
Yeah, right. Now, I would no problem at all going with the dealer financing. Just negotiate that part hard because they have room.
Okay. I did not know that. That's good to know. So that's why I called. Arnett, I'm going to go join the Blastic Hood gang, and John over there at he's going to guide me through and learn how to run this thing better. So
perfect. All right. Good deal.
All righty. Thanks, Kevin. Have a good day.
You're welcome. Talk to you soon. All right. Last call of the day. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Gene, welcome.
Hey, hello, Kevin. I am actually going down next week to get my new Volvo. We're going to drive it home from the plant.
Oh, how exciting.
I had a question. We have a few bells and whistles coming on the new truck.
Oh, good.
Before I get into that, I had a question that was a strategy that was brought up to me a little bit late right now. If the strategy was to lease the truck from Volvo for, say, 4 or 5 years, you can write the lease payments off.
Stop right there.
And then
Stop right there.
At the end. And
Stop right there. Who gave you this advice?
I don't even remember. It's been a couple months ago, and somebody had mentioned too. It was probably at the Liars counter. Yeah.
Okay. This is nothing new. This has been around as long as I've been helping people buy trucks. This is one of those myths that persists because there's a little bit of truth to it, but people don't understand the full implication. I used to explain this a lot. Let me explain it to you. Yes, you absolutely get to write off every lease payment you make. That sounds like a good thing, right?
Right.
But then they'll go further and go,
think about it.
Well, then they'll go further and go, you don't get to write off your truck payments at all. And they're correct. If I go finance a truck, I don't get to write off my payments. If I lease a truck, I do. On the surface, that sounds like a wonderful thing. That's why this persists. But let me give you my best scenario. We're right about that time of year. You're picking yours up before the year's over with, right?
Correct.
If you pick it up in December, let's just use that as an example. When is your first lease payment due?
Probably January.
Yes. So you have no lease payments to write off this year, none. Now, are you putting money down on it? Let's say you were going to lease it and you were going to put money down, because you can put money down on a lease and it lowers your lease payments. But the down payment you would put on the truck, if you lease it for 4 years, we have to take your down payment and divide it by 48, and you only get to write off 1 month of that down payment. So you have 1/48 of your down payment you get to write off and no lease payments this year. So you get almost no write-off this year. On the other hand, if you buy it and finance it, we could write off $100,000 this year if we want to through depreciation.
Right.
So here's the real truth to this. No matter whether you lease or buy, you will get to deduct every penny you pay to own or lease that truck. So there's technically no difference in the long term. You get to write off every penny no matter which way you do, lease or purchase. The difference is when we get to write it off and how much control we have. And when I buy the truck, I have far more control. Like I said, you could buy it on December 31st and take a deduction for $100,000 or more this year. You could wipe out every penny of profit you have this year and pay no tax. In a lease, you don't have that option at all. You would get almost no write-off this year. So I'm not a big fan of leasing. Very, very seldom do I ever recommend leasing.
Right. Well, that's whenever I heard this thought, and it was digesting in my head, and I knew at some point I wanted to ask you about it because you would have a more proper explanation.
That's the truth. And here's the other thing I will tell you, that the lease payment calculation is incredibly complicated, but it is a formula. And ultimately, if you do what whoever was recommending, you lease it for so many years, then you buy it, you'll just end up paying more for the truck than if you just buy it the first time. So you pay more, you don't get any big tax.
You have more money invested in the end.
Exactly. And there is no tax advantage the way they describe it. None whatsoever. In fact, it's the opposite. There's a disadvantage. We're going to write off every penny. We just have no control over when we get to write it off.
Okay. Understood. Now, to get onto another point, I understand that there.
Good.
The gentleman just asked about the exemption for the camera systems.
Yes.
There is, if you get the certificate, and I'm not sure what the certificate is, but I spoke to the powers at Landstar about this exact thing because my truck is coming with the electronic mirrors.
Okay.
And they said with the certificate, once I get that over to them and it's filed, once I'm comfortable, and my wife is a new driver now. She just got her CDL last fall. And until I have her comfortable with the truck, we will be able to remove all external mirrors.
So I have a recommendation that might surprise you. I completely understand why people like you and I would want both in the beginning till you get used to the video. I would put a new driver right in without the mirrors. Don't ever let them get used to the mirrors. Learn on video.
Well, yeah, that's valid. Yeah.
At some point,
you can't unlearn. Yeah, you don't have to unlearn anything.
And it doesn't do us any good to learn the mirrors if we're going to be driving a truck that we're going to take the mirrors off of. And eventually, trucks won't have mirrors. This is a big fuel savings. It's significant, and that we're moving in this direction. Eventually, brand new drivers are going to get in trucks that don't have any mirrors, and I think that's probably a better way to start. Why learn something that you're going to have to unlearn and then learn something new?
Case in point, when I put her into this truck, this is a 23 that I have now. And when I started driving it, this is the TC. I got the 13 speed with the 215s and the iTorque transmission. And I was still trying to outthink the iShift transmission.
Right.
And I was doing good. I was hitting 10 miles a gallon. I put her in the seat. She set the cruise control. She lets it do its thing. Her first trip out from Kentucky to Texas, she measured at 10.47 miles per gallon on her first trip ever out in a CFE.
Yeah, doesn't that make you a little crazy?
Let it do its thing.
I know, but that's that. We just have to understand that's where this technology is.
I learned from that because, and that's what I learned from that was just set it, let it do its thing, and we've improved overall. I've even improved because I was still trying to drive it like my N14, which you do not.
Right.
I've learned that every year.
So my recommendation would be, if it's possible, Just let her just start with the video right off the bat.
Yeah, well, once we get it back, and I have to provide that certificate whenever I get the truck on the Landstar, and then we would be able to remove.
Well, you just saved
the mirrors on the outside.
You just saved me the research time. Thank you.
Yeah, and the visibility. I've got some videos from my sales rep and pictures that the visibility on the electronic mirrors, hands down, in the rain at night, everything is much better than anything we've experienced.
Everything I've ever heard about the new systems is so much better than physical mirrors, not just for fuel mileage, for safety, convenience. From what I understand, they track the back of the trailer. So even backing up, there's a huge improvement on total visibility. And this to me is one of those no-brainers.
It tracks the rear corner of the trailer.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Which is so much better than a physical
mirror.
Think about
a blindside back end now.
Exactly. Yeah. I tried to get an exemption in 2009 when we built the first signature truck. I wanted to put the mirrors on back then, or the cameras. Yeah, and nobody would even talk to you about it back then.
Right. But this this truck coming out, I had to go through Joel and Dwayne to get the approval from Volvo.
Oh, good.
But my understanding, this will be the first truck. This will be the first truck out of the plant that has the 2.05.
Oh, wow.
Final ratio.
Okay, we're getting up there. We're down there, however you want to look at it.
This is the 500 1950 14 speed 6x2 with the 2.05.
Boy, you are going to love that thing. That is such an incredible combination.
And we get to drive it home from the factory next week. We bring it back to our dealership, so we're going to avoid the delivery fees, and we get to try it out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm going to put the disclaimer out, because when we get the pictures out, I am not trying to be Joel Morrow. The only thing I can say is my wife's favorite color is purple.
Hey,
all I got to say
that is a sharp truck. I'd copy that all day long. Although Lisa and I were just casually talking, so don't read too much into this. We're thinking we want to go back to traveling more in the wintertime. And the coach has just got way too many miles on it. So I either need to think about a new coach. And then we started talking about, well, what if we just built a new Volvo 4x2 and, built another a custom fifth wheel? I prefer that. The coach is nice, but I really liked when I was still in a truck. I think Lisa's settled on that new green. They have a new green on that Volvo that's stunning. Oh, she's yelling at me that she's not settled on it.
Funny you say that, because I've also done vinyl. I had a vinyl graphic shop, so we're going to do some vinyl ourselves.
Yeah.
I am going to accent the purple with an emerald metallic green.
Oh, yeah.
On the purple.
There you go. That'll be an interesting combination.
But also with the, what they call it, the adaptive steering now, where it centers your lane up.
Yeah. Boy, I can't wait till we have more of those trucks.
They had a demo model in, and I got to test drive it. One of the units with the adaptive steering. And my salesman, he used to actually work at Pittsburgh Power. He's now the salesman coming on to my dealership.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But, he's got some experience behind the wheel. He was always afraid. He was afraid to let go of the steering wheel, let it do its thing. So we took it for a test drive. A long straight stretch, 422. It's up above where Pittsburgh Power is at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going down the road, and I kept my hands about an inch off the steering wheel.
Right.
I went 10 miles and never touched the steering wheel.
We're there.
But it did come up and tell me to start paying attention.
Right. I'm going to make this claim, and I know it drives people crazy, but I don't care. I trust that technology far more than I trust human beings already. And I can't wait until we have that lane technology on all trucks, because I am tired of trucks wandering into my lane as they're passing me.
Yes. with my wife just learning, sometimes it scares the living crap out of her when somebody comes over on her.
It scares me.
Learn how to react to that.
Yeah, it's bad enough if I'm in the coach or a big vehicle, but in a car and they do it seems like it's constant. They can't get around me, and I drive slow. That's just what I do. I drive slow in a car. I'm not in a hurry to get anywhere. And I hate being in the pack, so I never run with traffic like everybody. Oh, you need to run with traffic. No, but hell no. They're all 2 feet off each other's bumper. They're all swapping lanes like it's a NASCAR race. Screw that. I'm going 5 to 10 miles an hour slower than everybody else, and I never have to deal with the pack mentality. But I just wish they would stop coming into my lane when they're passing.
And the stress level on the vehicle and yourself is far less.
Much lower. Exactly.
I mean, you're in a better. Yeah. And sometimes if I have my radio on and I'm going out across Kansas on the 2-lane, 3-lane, sometimes if the CB's on there, I get hollered at a lot. Why are you going so slow? What's going on? For instance, I'm above the minimum speed limit. If you want me to slow down, and then they get all butthurt.
Here's the thing.
And it's like, I find it humorous.
If you run the posted speed limit in most places, they're yelling at you like you're going too slow.
Right. I always ask him. I never got the memo where you have to do 5 mile an hour over the posted speed limit. Where's that at? I've never.
I didn't get that memo either. And I can be doing the speed limit, and people act like I'm going too slow.
Yeah, but then again, with this model here, I'm reaching 10s. Between 9.5 to 10.5.
That's incredible.
The new truck, I'm expecting to be solid in 11s or higher.
That's going to be wild. Truck. Yeah. I still have a hard time getting my head around this, but it's pretty incredible.
Well, I'll have it next. I can post. We'll get some pictures next week, but probably by the end of November, beginning of December, we'll be running it, and I'll provide some photos in the tribe.
Definitely.
Background. Joel helped guide me through this a little bit. We had to go back through Dwayne back to the powers that be to get it approved.
Perfect.
And the words that I heard, there was a very heated discussion concerning putting that 2.05 in that drivetrain. We got it approved, so we're going to go try it.
The challenge there is that the engineers and the attorneys are just over-analyzing all of it. You know, they're way too conservative. We could push that another couple points. Like I said, Joel is considering a ratio down in the 1.9s. And I don't see any problem with it whatsoever with their transmission. It's just they're too conservative on it, and that's why you had to get it approved. But I think you're going to have an awesome combination.
And then with my aerodynamic trailer, I just left Tucson, Arizona last week, back to Western Pennsylvania. By the time I left Tucson and got to my house, my dash was showing 11.7 miles per gallon. And I'm about 4/10 high on the dash to actual pen on paper.
Yeah. Nice.
So with everything I have, the aero set up with my trailer, and I had just recently pulled a Landstar trailer for the last month and a half, and I was down in the low 9s. I went to my trailer, now I'm back up into 10s and 11. And the trailer makes a big difference.
Oh, absolutely. And some of Joel's numbers that he puts out, like he was running, power only for a while, so he had no good trailers, and yet he was still putting out great numbers. The number that Mesilla Valley published was if they took a stock factory trailer with no aerodynamic improvements, nothing. It could be a brand new trailer, but if it had no improvements, or they built their optimal trailer that they designed, they were showing 1.2 miles per gallon improvement. That's huge. Yeah. Yeah, that's big.
When I got my liftgate trailer, I gave this trailer to my other driver, and he always told me I was full of crap for everything I put on this trailer. Well, he started pulling this trailer with a 2001 Volvo with an N14, 10-speed, 373 rear end. He noticed himself. He finally come back to me after 2 weeks and says he got 3/4 of a mile per gallon bump up just by pulling that trailer around.
Yeah, I believe it.
And I have the skirts. I actually have the air tabs on the back of the skirts. I got the top kit and the leading edge, so it's pretty well rounded out.
Yeah,
for
nice
for aero.
Yep.
A little bit overkill, but more overkill than underkill.
That's right. Well, good stuff. I look forward to hearing some results back. It's exciting.
Yes, sir. I will keep you all in the loop.
All right.
I'll be going to see Jim here in a couple weeks too, because my air dog's waiting for us at Jim's.
Perfect. There you go. All right. Good talking to you.
Thanks.
We are going to wrap this up today. Tomorrow for Coffee with Kevin, depending on what happens the rest of this afternoon, I am very, very close to being able to test the new broadcast console I've been building. Our current setup for doing the show is kind of a mess. It's why, most of the time it's operator error when we don't have video or the audio's not right or something about the show didn't go right. It's almost always operator error, meaning me. But it's because our system is overly complicated. We had to hack together about 5 different technologies to make this show work the way that it does. And there's no software on the market that does what we need. Except there might be now. I'm very close. So if I get a couple more bugs worked out this afternoon, got a couple challenges that have stumped me, but I think I'm close. I may use the Coffee with Kevin tomorrow as I might treat you like lab rats. We might go test the broadcast console tomorrow for the Coffee with Kevin show. So we'll see you then, one way or the other. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. Always do the hard work and master the journey.